Alright, let's get this party started. This is gonna be funny. Alright, let me tab out and get all of this stuff bricked off here. Hold on. Okay. I don't think the order of operations really matters. We can do timing on a different side, but what would stand out on this map? Yeah, that's fine. So that, then they're opting to combine these two into that. Then they want one over here for that. They want to do one, which I'm going to be honest, we could just make into this area. And then they want Frinny. And then they also want everything north of Sirda around Abdura, or Abdera. Starting with that area, so that's 6 off the bat. I still need to figure out what the other 2 mission files are. They're probably going to be fillers in between, so we might have some defensive or some sort of spec op operation on another spot, but those are the 6 main AOs. So I have to figure out how we're going to build everything from the ground up. This should be interesting. Alright. This is going to be a fun one. Okay. So, to basically say everything out loud, about a month ago I was approached by LaFlash, the guy that runs Milsim Units, the group that I've been promoting. If you type !Milsim in chat, you'll see what I'm talking about. But the guy that started up a website to basically pool all the Arma 3 communities together. And I genuinely thought that was a great idea because, I'm going to be honest, I hate having to tell people when they want to find an Arma 3 place to go to, like, Reddit, find a unit, or an Arma 3 related Discord, because all of that is so freaking mismanaged. So a website where the big communities can easily grab people, I think is great. So on top of the advertisement deal I worked out with him, he said, hey, I've got these 4 really big communities that want to do this 24-hour join top. And I'm like, that's really cool. I wasn't expecting that to go anywhere. 4 weeks later, I got this sent to them 2 weeks ago. I literally listed out like 15 potential AOs to do. And now I know it's going to start down here and it's going to end up here. And then everything in between is going to be these centralized areas. I gave them this template. They approved of it. It's going to be Altis, aka the island of Lemnos in the Aegean Sea. I've made a Turkish rogue splinter cell faction to facilitate this. And now we have to do the hard thing of, I've got 6 out of the 8 mission files guaranteed, but I need to now organize all of this logistically. So it's just a matter of, all right, that I am going to attempt to make a master file, and I'm trying to debate what to do first. And I'm gonna be honest, I think our best bet is going to be literally to start on the bottom right and work our way up, so if that's the case, what we need to really focus on is building patrols and focusing on locking down every military position that exists, and then basically taking every position that's a military position on Lemnos and just working it up. So when I look, we're going to literally tackle these one at a time. It's going to pretty much be like Antistasi or Liberation, but organized. And these are going to be, I think, 80-person mission files. So this is going to be an interesting thing. Ian, are you actually saying that? Are you just messing with me? Regardless. We're going to go ahead and take our infantry template, and then I'm going to set things up. I mean, these outer positions are probably going to be no more than a squad on garrison. Means there's mission dev going, I feel ya. San is bridge on the River Tai. And, let me actually, nope, they're not preset. From an old game called Tide that says Tasmanian Tiger. Though I think they remastered it recently. They actually remastered, I think, like all of their major games. Like 15, 20 years later. Even so. But anyway, I'm literally just going to build up every single military position in all of these red zones. And then start going with some more specialized stuff like, alright, where are they holding their missile core? Where are they holding AA positions? Yada-da. So we're going to dev everything accordingly, and I think while I do this, I need to grab statics. And we'll build things from there, so that'll be the copy-paste. Do I not have a heavy gun? I don't. They're a NATO faction, though, so realistically they would have 50 cal. I also do have artillery. Let me make some standing 50 cal turrets here. What would the best thing to work with be? I think we're gonna go a little, thinking. Alright, yeah, no, there's gonna be two types of turrets I use. There's going to be shielded 50 cal, which I might not find in here. It might have to be in vanilla FIA. It is funny that we have the 60mm mortar, but no, we're gonna have to go into, assuming FIA is gonna have to be scrolled up here. Yeah, I want to use the standing because I like the shield, and I'm going to put the holographic on it. And since these are 80-man files, I'm probably not going to build any searchlights. If I do, it'll be later in, and then I need 240. But it would say, it would be Elcan. Yeah, baby. Because I want there to be a bit of oomph. No, it would be vehicle appearance for the scope. And we would do that. Yep. Alright. Now the fun begins. Alright, right off the bat, I'm going to want some form of manpad AA down. The turrets, I'm going to make 50 cals more defensive. So these small little cop positions are going to have these bigger ones. However, I don't like the elevation difference. What about, I know the 50 cals are vanilla, so they're going to be built for that height. So I might have to instead utilize these. Yeah, they're higher up compared to the gun. If we were to put these on top of each other, you see that they, actually, interesting. No, the gun barrel is further out, so fascinating. Yeah, no, okay. I stand corrected. It looks like it was higher, but we can make that work. I think the real trick is going to be testing for clipping. That'll be the fun part. I'm thinking one squad leader, one machine gunner in a place, and then if we're going to be doing like a 10-man squad sort of deal, defensively, I'm definitely going to want a dragon in every position, and that does make things a little bit tough. But we'll have that. I don't have a medic template. Sorry, that took me by surprise for a second. And then we've got helicopter crew. I'll be building those later. But let's go ahead, get everything fielded here. And I think I'm not going to do finer detail, just because I want to see how the server handles things. And if finer detail is warranted, then we'll do it. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7... 8, 9, and then I'll put a 10th guy in the back right there. And this isn't including like a 2 or 3 man internal patrol. This is literally just purely the static position. And you know, now let me get all the vehicles. Because otherwise I'm just going to go through everything again, and that's redundant. Not going to take the Land Rovers because that's for a spec op group, and I'm going to have to ask if we're even going to be doing something like that. Oh boy, yeah, that's a lot of stuff. So right off the bat, having a helicopter down, it's going to have to be an armed Griffin. Let me go ahead and freaking rotate this to the side here. I'm going to want a gunship. Let's do one of the 146s. No air crew tied to it. I want it to be static. But yeah, this position, it's definitely more of an abandoned one. So, I mean... probably just put like a 113 crew up here with a small infantry dismount and call it a day. I think that's going to be our best bet here. So with that, let's give it the 240. I could fortify this one a bit more, but the scope of this mission file is this entire zone. And I think the main bread and butter is going to be the fortification of this base. There's going to be infantry patrols around as well. And it'll definitely help set the pace. And then we've got these radar positions to potentially put some build-up on. But there's going to have to be a lot of research into the units, because some mission files are going to be driven by a specific unit having a majority of the attendance, and then some are going to be even. So there's going to be a lot of research in the background into making sure all that works. I'm going to put a 23 gun right there. Put the squad leader off to the side. Make sure he's standing. Could put a marksman on the tower as well. Crew that. Crew that. And I think I'll keep the vehicles empty for now, and we'll go back and handle those individually. Because vehicle AI is pretty unpredictable, unfortunately. Yeah, simple, small, like 2 or 3 man. Then I have a patrol right there as well. Have the ZU-23 gun on its own. That should be fine. Now this position is going to be the interesting one. Because here, if we're going to be having a few planes down, I definitely need some sort of... oh my gosh. Where are the little... oh, cool, there's Hain people. No, I don't want... I need the tent Hainers. Yeah, these puppies. So based off of that alone, this is definitely going to be like a smaller... position. And what would I want to do? I mean, this is technically a training hangar. You also have this airfield, but you could realistically take off prop planes. And then this one, I mean, you also have 3 pieces here. So I feel like this would be another prop plane or training hangar position. It's hard to say. So I'm thinking we'll do... because I gotta watch the elevation differentials as well. And doing this without deformer, which was my own request because we don't really need deformer for something like this. What I could do instead is, let's take an environmental... let's hide those 2 pieces so I can then just drag these past. Let's move that one a little to the right. So what combat airframe do I want to put in here? First, the Cessna, just for the sake of having a training aircraft. And then I need to test this in Zeus to make sure it doesn't fly forward, and if it does, I'll put some little stoppers in front of the wheels, and that should stop it. For this area, since the Mystery is going to be the primary attack frame, let's actually just do 2 and 2. And just say flight doctrine is to work everything in pairs. I think that's fine. And again, they got a perimeter fence. They're not really expecting contact, so... Since this is going to be a 24-hour mission file, I'm also curious about potentially adding more hostile positions. But again, studying their pacing is going to be the most important part, and then being heavy on counterattacks if need be. But I think the most important thing is to just have a bit of a light AAA presence, and then we'll put a Shilka on that spot and leave heavier AA. Also have a Cobra on station, that's fine. Or a Venom, excuse me. Because a lot of this can also boil down to sending heavily armored vehicle QRF, having rocket artillery in play. Having a few utility vehicles down as well. But I mean, again, this one is not really meant to be that combat built up. It's meant to be a partial training center, partial military position. But I'll set up a few things around it. I don't need to really worry about rotation because the AI will snap into place on everything regardless. It's going to be 3 8-hour ops, but I'm building the master file, which I will then divide into the 8 individual files. The one issue I have right now is I have 6 AOs. I'm still waiting on 2 more. And I think they have their schedule made for who's doing what between noon of the 6th and noon of the 7th. I just need to then figure out from there, okay, so what are the 2 open slots and what are we doing with that information? I'm also thinking we're going to do a garrison over here. Just an occupation of this position. We're going to have a 3rd fuel vehicle over here, and I'll probably put like an IFV or something to cover this position. I'm going to keep the vehicles empty for now, because there's a few different ways I might do the crewmen, but we'll see based off of what we get. So with that, I'm going to want you, and you. Well, and you. And then the rest of this can just be regular riflemen, because I don't have to garrison every single little thing here. Oh, wait, I'm using pilots. Whoops. That's for later. What I really just need to focus on right now is getting a bare bone master file template, and then once I have all my information, then I can really start specializing and go from there. But when I make campaigns, I usually create a master file similar to something like this, and then instead of, running all the missions back to back over a day, it's run over the course of like 2 months. It's just, this is one of those rare times where I don't have all the information immediately. Or I'm not in a position to make it up as I go along, so I just work with what I got. And I'm showing off how that's relatively done. And we'll probably have a few, like, 4-man patrols of riflemen, maybe some team leads in there as well. And then based off of their pacing, what we could do is I could turn this into a fortified position and make this into like an armor depot or somewhere where they're fielding out. Actually, no, we're going to do that now. Because the next step would be to then build up these radar installations and also tie them into the AO. But in terms of this position, we're going to take care of that. So I could put a shed in the middle, but I think we're just going to clear out the stuff into here and just make this into a... there she is. Into a vehicle depot. Because when you're doing an invasion, you also have to think about the logistics. So I need another environment model. Set to local, and then we just need to figure out where the... marker is. There she is, and then I can just put her in there as a replacement. I'm thinking an armor depot. Armor has... Let's see what can fit. I think the warriors can fit. Yeah, they can. All right. So we'll have a warrior platoon in here. Other one, I'll put the two other ones inside.
Let's get
and then I want to do a tank platoon here as well, which I think we're going to do in these little small shed areas. And then I'm going to have a bit of triple R on them as well. So we're going to do light tanks, because the more central we get is going to be where more of the more advanced gear is, especially the Telos military base. That's going to have scuds. That's going to have all this crazy shit in it. But in terms of the outskirts, we're only going to have the lighter stuff, because it's also meant to be more common. Because I'm not just considering, all right, what's going to be the place to have... You know, I'm going to be pretending that the entire island is also heavily fortified. That way, you know, because I have this position one here, there's going to be like, you know, 4 of them all the way around this entire peninsula up here, another 4 or 5. So it'll basically add to the QRF I can throw in terms of a maximum amount. Because I already have a rough idea of how many tank platoons I want, how many artillery platoons I'll have, or artillery systems would be a better term for it technically. How many infantry squads I can have in field, how much AA I'm going to have, and then some of it will be, you know, put in the mission. So like this mission file, I'm going to have the AA up for back here as well. This mission file is going to have the AA systems here and here, and if those are taken out, that will be shown in the next mission as well. But again, I don't want to completely hunker down the entire map with these bad boys, even though I'd like to do that, but we need to let air do their thing. But, you know, I'm able to field aircraft that I already know are going to be at the central airbase and then throw them in here, and if they're lost and I'm not able to pull them away, they're lost. So when you have a recurring mission file, when I put everything down in a master file, it really helps me see, all right, this is what I'm going to work with. And then what do I have on the top right? What do I have on the left side? I write that down, and then as things are destroyed, I just keep a log of that, and then we move forward. Because I think we're going under the assumption that they have a good amount of intel going into this AO, so they know where shit is. And I think we're still trying to figure out if we're going to have a potential period where air can come on the server and start bombing the crap out of my stuff. Because I put that up as an idea, but I haven't heard back yet, so... now we're just going to field some triple R in this area, so... For the sake of 2 platoons. I could also have a bunch of additional utility vehicles, but again, there's only so much we can spawn in a server at one period of time, so... I'm going to set some supply officers here, and then we'll just have some riflemen, because again, there's not really a point of them having any specialized forces. But beyond that, then we'll also put some engineer crews there and whatnot, but I will template that later, because again, I'm still trying to see... There's still answers I need to certain questions. I agree I could spawn more in here, but again, one of the things that I'm worried about is if I have too many vehicles down on a mission file with 80 players, if you have an excessive amount of vehicles, it does contribute to the amount of frames you can get on a mission file. Now, I think they're going to have a pretty powerful server for this, so this shouldn't be too much of an issue, but you got to remember this is going to be a naval insurgent via an aircraft carrier and a landing ship, so all of the stuff on there is also going to be quite a bit. But master files, when you start building them, considering the scale of everything, you always can add more. I mean, this is literally going to be in a month. I have an entire month to decide if I want to add more or less to this, you know? So for now, I start small, and I'll just slowly review everything and build everything on top of it. But again, I'm going to be eventually dividing this into, 8 different mission files, but this is how it starts. It starts slowly, unfortunately. But Pyrgos is going to be an interesting one because, again, this is where one of the biggest military bases on the server is. And right off the bat, I'm going to be adding a few things because I want to make a few amendments. Is there not a square? What? Oh, because I'm looking in the cups. I'm an idiot. Where's the square? So this is where I could have a flight of helicopters if I wanted to. What I'm probably going to do is put the big one in the middle. And this is where I'm going to have a fleet of Hueys. Honey, are you upstairs or I'm about to be robbed? Okay, it's you. Have a good night then, dear. All right. Well, I hope you're okay, Goober. Good to hear. Good night, babe. Love you. I heard creaking through my headset. I'm like, what the heck is that upstairs? But nah, it's just her being a goober. If you want to hear what our day was like, feel free to go check Twitter. And you can see a wonderful little video that her and I recorded. And yeah, if that isn't your definition of love, I don't know what is, but yep. There's our little definition of insanity there, Chief. Alright, 450 cals on the corners. Ah, man, the rise of these silly little bots. I don't think any of my mods are on, so we can just, yeah, get rid of that silly little thing. So anyway, helicopter platoon, transport helicopter in the middle, which I'm probably not going to use. It's just going to be for utility, but that also means if I want to try to do airbound QRF, I can send forces through there. Garrison-wise, this is where things are going to be interesting. How are the Deathclaws in DayZ? Terrifying. They're slower than normal Deathclaws, but they don't die. So, those are on the menu. Yeah, they don't die. And you see, that's kind of an issue, because, yeah. You don't understand, like, I need things when they attack me to, like, stop living. And, those didn't. Those didn't at all. No, they just kept coming. And, yeah, it's kind of terrifying, Chief. You have a 50 on your main kit. Well, I wonder if that helps you with them. I mean, similar to Fallout New Vegas, if you don't have something ridiculous like an anti-material rifle with AP rounds or some sort of super explosive, you're not gonna live that long. Now, back to the mission dev here. I really want to over-fortify these battle towers, but I know for a fact if I put more than 4 dudes in here... Actually, no, regardless of how many dudes I put in here, they're just going to explode. Alright? They're literally just going to blow the towers up. Why? Because that's what I would freaking do. Boy, you gotta squat in that battle tower? J-Dab. You don't have a tower there anymore, Chief. Oh, J-Dam. J-Dam these nuts. Anyway. Oh, rest in peace, my poor tower. Alright, let me get some light AT and we'll go from there. Sounds like you need a stronger tower. Yeah. I debated replacing them and making them invincible, but at the same time... Nah, that's not worth a potential headache. When I'm given jobs like these, I just leave it as is and let them go nuts, because it's just, you know, let the players be players. Let them do what they want, and trust me, if they don't do something correct and I'm able to take off a few helicopters or planes, I'm already going to make their lives miserable with those. And again, this is simply a static garrison framework. It's not including the mobile patrols I'm going to have in this base. And then we have a bunch of vehicle depots, which... This is where things could actually get really, really fun. Furthermore, I am going to burn a ZEI template in here, because I want there to be a little bit of build-up where I can have it. And since this is Altis, I can keep most of the Altis props, but I don't want to put anything Stratus related on. No, that's Malden. So I have to say, like, wait, if that's Stratus, what did I just delete? Ah, it's Malden. Okay. And then, of course, get rid of CSAT, but I can keep the Altis stuff. If I really wanted to, I could change those out to be Altesian map as well. But nah, too lazy. All right, and then here we can have a few more officer elements and whatnot. And then I can put some riflemen in there for static defense. I'm also going to put a machine gun in there, because point-blank MG3s are horrible. They're freaking horrible. Also, I put an SU-260 scope on that thing, and I'm not apologizing. I mean, technically a 260, I think, is meant for a 240 series, or it might be a 249. I don't know, but you know what? The AI don't care. They just detect its magnification and go, oh, okay, now my spotting coefficient is that much better. Now, is it really going to help them in CQC? No, but it's still terrifying. And funny. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go over and say, hey, like, does any community, like, auto-gen for intel? Because if I do, I'm gonna have to get a list of those assets and then remove them. Alright. That didn't work. There we go. Oh, now vehicle-wise. First off, this is gonna be a more hardened military base, so I do need one of those for some simple lockdowns. Furthermore... definitely gonna want 2 of these. And then I'm definitely gonna want 2 of these. Vehicle-wise, I want a platoon of you. Ah, yes, this is the annoying part. I gotta find, there it is, the sweet spot that hides those things without hiding the things I actually want to, not get hit. Alright, and then I'm gonna need some triple R in the form, first off, 2 fuel trucks. So I'll do one off to the side, and then just copy and paste the full thing of triple R, and then tuck that fleet away in here. So what I can do instead is something like this. Leopards can get their own section. I'll tuck the fuel truck right there. And then this, I would love to make like a little medical place there, but we can just section that off as is. We also do technically have some military positions here. I'm gonna write a note about them. I'm not gonna do anything to them yet. No.
Send in Goat Team 6.
No, we can. Never mind. We're gonna do something. Give me that, and the rifleman in a light AT unit. There we go. Luxord, how you doing, buddy? Thanks for the 46-month resub. I hope you keep enjoying the operations, and I hope you get a nice kick out of this scenario. Fuel truck doesn't have roof privileges. Yeah. I'm sorry. It gets caught out in the rain, but hey, it means they don't have to wash it. Just don't let it get struck by lightning. Otherwise, yeah, bad things are going to happen. All right, so what do I have? I've got 6 slots, and then I've got Hover, Hainer, and then something like that. I mean, this could also be a Spec Ops holding position as well. And since this is Pure Ghosts, that would have... Yeah, we're going to put one of the Spec Ops groups there. And I haven't built those guys yet, because I'm waiting to see ballistics testing on their armor, because I'm waiting for their unit templates. And once I get those, I'm going to specifically take stuff that is going to be very scary for them. As in potentially, like, 2-shot or 3-shots them. And that's the weaponry I'm going to have them fight. And then I'm going to make sure that whatever body armor that their weaponry is weak against, I'm going to give to them. Because I want my Spec Ops force to be feared. Not just a, oh, cool, reskinned units, I can 2-tap. No, buddy. No, these guys are gonna get your attention very quickly. Alright, I'm gonna have another 113 fleet, and then... So I'm actually just gonna take... Yeah, this is actually gonna be a major vehicle storage site. But this is also going to have a lot of the QRF that I'm going to send in the first mission file as well. So... when this mission file first loads, I'm literally going to delete, you know, all the vehicles I decide to send in from this local area. But that's why it's going to look over-garrisoned. Let's put 2 other Leopards down. I'm going to put a rocket artillery system down as well. Give me 2 rocket systems. Oh, give me the funnier looking ones, or the less funny looking ones. We're gonna have the more sophisticated looking ones for another place. And then give me the IFV, War of the Warriors. I think I'm gonna do it in sections. Let's have... Yeah, nah, we'll do a platoon then. Platoon tucked away over there. me 2 of these. Let's have some, tucked away AA defenses as well. Fleet of, small range AA. Oh, can those fit? Yeah, they kinda can, whatever. That'll be our vehicle storage. And then in here, we've got these 2 barracks buildings. We have this internal compound, which is why I think we'll put maybe a important person in that compound for someone to grab. But I got to look at what unit's getting this mission, because I'm going to tailor the mission to what they want, which is why it's important for me to look at the schedule and see who's getting what. But yeah, that'll be something we apply. But I need to definitely fortify that little cop. Or is it technically a checkpoint? Yeah, regardless. Let's go ahead and get a 240 scoped on the rooftop. Thinking, do we also want to put some sort of AT system down? Yeah. Where would we put it? Because there's not a lot of good places on the ground to put it. Yeah, we can take a Milan. Oh, speaking of, I am not accounting for transport trucks at all. Whoops. Yeah, where's the basic transport, Chief? This one, they're mostly vehicle-based, so we don't need that much transport there. I can just have one down as a utility piece. But, yeah, here we definitely need one. And then... put a flight of them down there. I could also always replace that position and put a few more down, but we're definitely going to have some in this city as well if I decide to double down on using it, because we also have this position over here. I can put a few things down and add to it as well. I can also turn that little soccer field into a fortified military position, a temporary establishment. But again, it all depends on what community is getting what mission. So again, we're going to make this one a simple 8. Yeah, we'll go with an 8-person defense here. So you, and you. I'll also take a Grenadier. Grenadiers I want to use sparingly, though, because Grenadiers are some of the most bullshit AI Arma 3 has to offer. No matter how you set it, it has, I'm going to be honest, probably an 80% chance of just putting the grenade at your feet. Why? Because fuck you. Anyone that's played on the ground and fought a Grenadier AI would know and tell you it doesn't care. It genuinely doesn't care.
Let's give him a warm welcome, shall we?
It'll blast you, whether you're ready or not. Could also add a vehicle down here, but we're not going to fret with that, not yet. Alright. Now, this is a fun one, because what I'm also thinking is making a special operations group on this island and forcing them to land there, but we're going to have to fortify that base and this air base here. Skill issue. People say that until they fight a regular squad of IFA infantry without realizing 1 or 2 of them by default get rifle grenades. And then you're playing in a trench or CQC, you poke your head away from a freaking corner of a building, or you poke your head out of a trench, and then 2 seconds later, right on your face, and you're dead. Not even kidding. Happens way too goddamn often. It's the funniest freaking thing. It's so bad, though. It's genuinely a problem. But it's so funny. Oh, man. How many coffees am I gonna need? Probably 2 and some sort of energy drink after I sleep for 8 hours and wake up at like 9 o'clock. Because it starts at noon. I won't feel it. Knowing myself and my limits, I'm not gonna really feel it until 8 o'clock. And then I'm gonna have to 5-hour energy the rest of the way, or monster energy, like whatever. I'm gonna need an energy drink towards the end, but I'm gonna be honest, I usually wake up. If I don't force myself to wake up, I usually wake up around 11 a.m. So the op perfectly lines up with my schedule in life anyway. But still, like, it's gonna be a challenge on that last bit. But that's what we're probably gonna do with the DayZ 24-hour op as well. It's their stream is probably do it around noon to start. Oh, I know Ganenan, which is why I know we're gonna have a few meal breaks. Probably related with pie, but you know, pie's delicious. Alright, I'm gonna have a squadron of these bad boys here. And usually it's like 4 or 5, but we're just gonna stick with 4. And again, hope to God they don't clip into each other and explode. Which probably means they're gonna clip into each other and explode. But you know, I can dream. Please don't. Please don't explode. Alright, we're gonna have another reinforcing chopper here. Because, I mean, this main airbase is gonna have a lot of the helicopter support anyhow. And then we can also use it as a pretty nice vehicle staging point because we have all these additional areas here. I'm gonna be honest, I don't think I need to do any sort of garrison on it just yet, but we'll see. I need to at least do a field of RRR. This can also be the lighter stuff, too, since it doesn't really have a perimeter. We can have a lot of transport trucks over here and whatnot as well. IFVs, though, mainly... I'm going to do 3 and 3. And then in there, I'm going to just do transports. I could also get a variation that adds a 50 cal to them, but it makes them a lot harder to micro, actually, like, putting units in and out. If the player base didn't have air support, then I would definitely do it, but because the players have air support, that means I have to careless hold fire the vehicle anyway. And trying to micro that individual aspect of the vehicle while it's also transporting a squad that you don't want on careless hold fire, because that gives you something else to micro, is a pain in the ass. Fun fact, though, this is where it all started, guys. 6 years ago. Not even, no, 8 years ago. Damn. When some chuckle fuck decided, hey, what if we just, stacked a bunch of wall assets over here and, made it funny. The fucking wall. The fucking wall. Oh! I didn't add them. Well, no, I mean, they would probably be on the main airfield anyway, but I did, hold on. I forgot, I did get permission. Yeah, so they said yes to that thing, which I need to now be very careful. I think, yeah, we can do Mediterranean camo, because I think that's going to be the closest to... Yeah, and it has... That's, I think, technically an Iranian symbol. Doesn't matter. But there's very specific ones. They said... Okay. All right, hold on. So we'll just go down the list. Not those. There's another version I would grab, though. They said yes to these. They said yes to these for me to scout, and I need to make drone units, too. They said yes to these because these are what look like the TB2s. And they said yes to these. Yes. Yes. And they said yes to, said yes to these. Their words were, don't make it excessive. And I'm like, okay, I can do that for most of these, but I am literally going to put fleets out of this bitch. Oh, Shark, you tell me. Yeah. Oh my god. I can use surveillance balloons. Yes. Yeah, I'd also use these, but they're bugged right now, and they're impossible to fly on RC, and you can only really fly them in RC anyway. Yeah, see what they've got? They got Global Hawks and they've got Reapers, so, you know, technically we're even. Technically. So with that in mind, I'm still not going to make any adjustments, but the reason I thought of it was because I'm going to need the boat ones, because this is going to be a naval base. And that also being said, I should probably look at what type of ships I have. No, not gunships. Boats. Alright, nothing came up on ship, so it's going to be boat. I don't know if... I could do a Spec Op SDV group, but that's going to be... I think that's going to be a bit pointless. And it's like there and there are going to be the only two naval bases, so I'll go ahead and put some boats here, but other than that, it's just armed fishing boats, and these guys aren't really appropriating local stuff, at least what I wrote in, so... I don't... If I had bigger stuff, I would probably simulate an Op4 battle group. But at the same time, if they were being brought in, it would be assumed that they were taken out. But even so, like... there's so many, like, what-ifs here that I think we're just going to assume that if there is a battle group, it's been taken out. And I don't even see any static ships in the mod set here. Yeah, so here's the carriers. Yeah, so there's the LHD. There's the bigger boy, and looks like they ripped the bridge off, and they've got aircraft catapults, which are quite nice. Huh, I'm unfamiliar with this ship, but I'm sure it'll fly. And then they have, yeah, the scripted stuff. Kisan, Liberty. All that fun stats. Oh, and then we have the static one. Yeah, I love that one. You can literally jump out of it. It's great. It's got its own physics. Regardless. Naval drones. I love them. Alright. So, without them being super excessive, I'm going to do 1 and 1. And then the recon ones all... There isn't much I could do with them. I guess I could also use them as scouting for artillery. So I'll put 4 down here. And then for the sake of balance, I'm going to need to put non-50 cals on the turrets. And no AT. Because otherwise the AT would just, like, snipe in the water. Well, that would be funny. Don't want to deal with that. And by then, they'd probably be turning all guns to bear on that side anyway. So now I can start focusing the statics on where the enemy is coming from. I don't have any landing zones. I don't have a lot of vehicle positions either. So what we're going to do is just some transports here. And then we'll do a truck with ZU gun. I think we could do a static AA. I can also accompany, like, 1M2, like, internally here, but I don't want it to be watching the water, because it would get taken out. or it could potentially take something out. And again, I'm not here to kill all 80 players in a mission file unless they do something incredibly stupid. To which point, I'm not even going to be remote controlling anything. I'm just going to let the AI deal with it and go, okay, sure. You can blindly charge in like that. I'm sure there's not going to be any oh god, there were repercussions. Oh god, half the community's dead. Oh god, there's panic over the radio. Oh no. Anyway. But again, these are 4 mil sims and they seem to be pretty well organized, so. I don't think there's going to be anything like that, but you never know. You never know. But there's various different mission file types I build. Some for your pleasure, like Pay for Pain and Impossible Ops, and then some for their pleasure. As in, hi, I'm a Zeus that's been brought in for this project. I'm here to make sure nothing goes cray-cray. Let's have fun. And again, 9 out of 10 times those mission files go fine, and there's no cray-cray. And then 1 out of 10, I do all the studying I can, I balance the op as best I can, and then holy shit, everything goes to shit. And 3/4 of the time I'm not blamed, but the 1/4 of the time it's like, Mr. Zeus, why did you do XYZ? And I'm like, I didn't though, I just let the AI do it, and they murdered you. Quite spectacularly. But Mr. Zeus, why didn't you change XYZ? It's like, I tried. But the AI, you're using lambs or Acre, or not Acre, Acre's a radio mod. ASR AI 3, or, you know, mod XYZ, and it takes control away from me, so the AI just kind of murdered you on your own. But Mr. Zeus, shouldn't you change that? I can't. I can't change your mod set, Billy. You told me, hey, you can give the AI javelins, and then the AI used their javelin, and then they killed you, and you're like, no. But you told me I could. And they murdered you. They murdered you pretty bad. Like, I don't think I've seen AI blow people up that way in years, but you figured out how to bring it back. It's like the Lambs AI argument I see, where some communities, and again, this isn't me shitting on AI mods. AI mods have a really specific focus, and they're great for the communities that don't like Zeus-controlled missions, because they're out there. But I understand that, you know, I don't want to prop myself up that way. Having a good Zeus is hard to find. There's a lot of units out there with Zeuses that are really just there to, like, please their own egos and shit, or their own bloodlust, and I get it. That's what turns off a lot of people from Zeus missions. I totally get that. I've played missions where the Zeus is out to get you for whatever fucking reason. And that's where AI mods really do shine. But when you have a Zeus that knows what they're doing, you don't really need to rely on AI mods except for very specific niche things like, you know, automatic building breach and all that stuff. Like VCOM, you can take VCOM and absolutely gut it and end with a really, like, nice set of advanced scripts that the AI can use without them, you know, not following your orders and following their own active combat scripts and, you know, not moving the way you want them to as a Zeus, but I digress. There used to be a major issue in Arma 3, and I say used to because vanilla AI don't do it anymore, but AI would start literally lighting you up if they barely detected you through a bush or something. Like, let's say you had a guy here, you had a guy over here, and then he sees you through the 2 bushes and starts shooting you. That was always a hard thing to manage because the AI would just do that. AI have... sorry, went on a small tangent there. AI, it got purged, I want to say, in like 2020, 2021, and people enjoy it now. If AI detect you, like you're on yelling or you shoot your gun, then the AI will still suppress you, but instead of like 2 or 3 shotting you through those 2 bushes, they just suppress the position instead. And again, really fun, because that was one of the banes of my existence, was dealing with AI that would do stuff like that, and I had to neuter the hell out of the AI to prevent them from even detecting you at like 10 meters to do that. So what's happened recently, though, is a lot of communities out there will get the full package of Lamb's AI mods, and one of them is Lamb's suppression. But they also have AI that aren't recalibrated, so they usually keep like the 45% on all stats. So 45% accuracy with lamb suppression means they will start lasering you through the bushes again. Sometimes when you see me Zeusing 506 ops, you'll also notice that like a vehicle from a click or a click and a half away through solid forest will start shooting in the direction of the players because of lamb suppression and how units communicate with each other. But I've had jobs from units where shit like that starts happening. And they're totally okay with it. And I'm like, but that's not how it's supposed to work. Like, so many people complained about this years ago. And now it's just considered normal that the AI will start mag dumping you from a click and a half with like a AAA vehicle, and players are just like, oh yeah, that's fine. It's not. Guys, it's been fixed for years. Why weren't players this calm about it 5 or 6 years ago when the issue was so prevalent? Now players are like, yes, this is normal. Getting suppressed through the forest at a kilometer out. Where were players like that back when I was first Zeusing? God, I could have used that.
Let's give him a warm welcome, shall we?
That would have taken away a lot of the micro headaches I had to have to control the AI when they decided, yes, today I will shoot through a forest. God, there's an old op we did on, I think, Cell 2, which is an Arma 2 ported map. And we had, it was either a Shilka or a Gepard that started trying to shoot at a player convoy literally 3 kilometers away with its AAA guns. And I think only, like, out of the hundreds of shots it was firing, maybe 1 or 2 got past. And I'm just like, what the fuck is going on? Because the AI had a heart attack or a prevolition or whatever, and was able to use the radar system on the vehicle to detect the ground vehicles and just started firing at them through like 2 different forests. And I'm just like, what the fuck is this? Why are you like this? What are you doing? Why? That was the funniest thing. Have a good night, Razor. It's called masochism, I should know. Oh, of course. My bad. Yeah, alright. Sorry. Alright, anyway, this is going to be the main vehicle storage hub, so this is where I'm going to put all the really fancy, really scary bullshit. Oh my god, there's going to be a lot of vehicles stored here. So I'm hoping I'm going to be able to burn through most of them, but we're going to be putting, like, literally a company's worth of vehicles here. Oh, man. I'm going to put 3 on storage duty there. I need literally 4 rocket systems of each type. Both types. Give me the paladins. I debated having HIMARS, but then I'm like, there's not really... Those are precision artillery pieces. If I get into a position to fire one of those, I don't think the player base has a proper way to counter it. It would be funny, but I don't want to just absolutely annihilate people. Not in this mission. Wait for Pay for Campaign to come back mid-August. I've got a lot of cool things to show you guys. But I'm going to be honest, I want the 2 24-hour projects to conclude, then I'm going to be purely focusing on Pay for Campaign prospects. I think that's enough. That's literally 12. That's 2 platoons of tanks. No, that's 3 platoons of tanks. And then I got this shit out here. Pay for campaign now with HIMARS. You know, I might put HIMARS in for pay for campaign. I have to get the player's consent about it, but it's like, hey, can I just HIMARS strike you? How do they get the HIMARS? Internet? Because technically, you know, the internet funded it. See, this is the small dome, and I can't put vehicles in the small dome, because how does it get through? It would be funny if I put it in there, but no, we can't do that. Let's see, what other silly little thing do I want to put in there? Some Shilkas. Definitely a Shilka platoon in here. But have you guys heard the jokes over the past 10 years of, a certain... I don't know what it's called, but there's a group of people on 4chan that help call airstrikes in Syria. Because they basically geolocate positions of Islamic militia bases, and then they forward that information to a Russian account that has ties to Russian MOD or something, and then like a day later, people find out that the position gets airstruck. It's funny shit like that. When internet trolls call in airstrikes. It's wild. What a time to be alive. I'm gonna be honest, I kind of want to just replace this with a shed. Because that gives me more vehicle room, but at the same time, there's already so much here, and I've got so much other places I can store vehicles. It's like, it's fine. I kind of want to, now that I'm looking at the vehicle scope, no, let's do our static turrets and everything first, and then we'll keep going the way we've been going. It's both a blessing and a curse, yeah. But hey, without it, we wouldn't have fun little jobs like these. We've already been going for an hour. I want to say we're about halfway through with what I wanted to get done today as a showcase piece. Because there's still a lot of information I'm waiting on, but I'm going to be honest, there is... Based off of my progress already, there's about 5 hours of work on making the mission file alone. Then there's going to be another 4 hours of sitting down and having hour-long meetings with Zeus's, and then maybe an hour or two of reworks. No. For 8 mission files, probably another 4 or 5 hours of potential reworks. And calibrating certain mission files for certain communities. And then actually dividing the 8 mission files and importing all the templates. Usually that only takes like 30 minutes per mission file. But times that by 8, and that's still like 4 hours. Oh my god. Wait, there we go. And then again, another naval base. Honestly, this is a bigger one, so I'm only going to put 2 over here. This one, though, I'm probably going to do 2, 2, and 4. But I also need the... yeah. Ah, yes, boat physics. Float in the air for
Send
me.
in Goat Team 6 now.
Go Yoko, thank you for the
Woo
28-month
exclamation
resub.
mark tilde finally it let me send it exclamation mark tilde.
It finally lets you resub. Nonetheless, broski, I appreciate it. Thank you for the 28-month resub. Hope you keep enjoying the operations. Hope you get a nice cacao this. And it's, again, going to be for about 80 players. Alright, so... Gonna put another warrior IFV group in here. And another thing I need to do is, after I put everything down, I need to individually count the amount of, you know, certain types of IFVs I have. So if I find I have, like, way too many warriors down, I'll probably change some of those out for, like, 113s. But I think numbers-wise, I've balanced it okay, but it never hurts to recheck and then reorganize accordingly. And then who says I have to store the shed stuff one way? I can literally just do it like this. Why? Because F you. I can do it how I want. I say the sheds go that way. Alright. I'm gonna do 50 cows here, because they're gonna be doing a land-based group, so I want something with a little more oomph. Also, because I'm a jerk. And we put some more static AA right here. Why? Because it's fun. As an air bombing it, I'd say low to moderate. There is a decent chance, though, and if I give them the intel that, yeah, I've got this shit here, they might just nuke it. Really, it's just going to be about setting boundaries with air and ROE and whatnot, but at the same time, it's also a matter of how much can I get away with on Garrison without, like, breaking the mission file, you know? And then how much do I want spawned in per mission file? Because I think having, like, statics and, you know, AA Vix down can be great, because that means they can really target AA ahead, and there's always going to be stuff for air to do. And then when we get to the, you know, second half of the mission files, air's just going to have to be better at recon and proactively taking out all of the QRF I send in from the flanks. But again, I need to figure out what the other two mission files they want to do are going to be, because that can considerably change the game depending on what we do. Also, I definitely want to put... I always put either AT or AA positions up here, and, yeah, today it's going to be no different, Chief. Are you proning? What? Okay. Alright, I'm not going to question it. Just let him do his thing. This one might be too fat, though. We'll see if he clips it, but I'll put him in for that, and yeah. We'll just have to see how that goes. Alright. I still have a vehicle shed here. What do I want to use? I already set triple R, right? Yep. So... I already have a bulk of artillery in Telos. I could do... tough call, tough call. I'm gonna be honest, I'm probably just gonna do more transport trucks. Because transports are gonna make up a bulk of the forces I put in. Again, I'm just a little worried about the amount of vehicles that'll be spawned in and whatnot, but... you know, if I notice an issue, I can just remove them. Is there a limit to the U.S.? Wait, what do you mean by that, Scarman? Snipers, I like putting snipers up there, but they are almost always useless. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, it's not as effective as you think. Which sucks. You know what doesn't suck? Putting a bunch of Shah heads in a military. Yes. Yes. I'm gonna be honest, this is a placeholder. I intend to have like 12 in here instead of 6, but again, I don't want 12 in there actually, because it eats frames. Now the fun part of how do I set up... Oh boy, I guess this is always a massive AO, and again, the difficulty here is how do I scale this properly? Though I will admit, the fighting was meant to be in this area, but we could expand it to the airbase itself. Oh, joke answer for the questions above. Let me look at this AO here. So we have Telos. We've got a bunch of barracks buildings. These will probably be utility buildings. I won't put full military garrisons in it. It's just going to be like command personnel. We have another research building here. Another place where you can put maybe a platoon of 113s. And then we're going to have the frickin'... This is where these are going to exist. In bulk. And the question becomes, do I want two? I think 2 is going to be fine. We can have a third one in the top right, so I can still field them after the central parry is taken. And then the stuff down here, we can put like prop planes and training planes and whatnot, but this is going to be the main airbase. And then again, we can have some more vehicle storage, but the main stuff is over in Telos. I can also potentially get some stuff on these military positions as well. The factory area, I'm probably going to turn that into a vehicle depot as well. And that's going to be their primary target in here. I might also make a military base in there, but we also have the small one right here, which has a helipad, so I can put another gunship in there. Oh yeah, and then freaking... I'll probably put helipads on this corner, because that's one of the common things ever since I played on Ahoy World back in 2016. And then we can also turn some of these parts into helipads as well. But then we go all the way up to Frenny. We have a fortified position in Frenny. And then, depending on what community's up here, I might put a villa area up here. Maybe like in this section. To grab a VIP. And then we have the final area, which is going to have up-armored positions here. And then they want like a final position to assault, which we're going to have to up-armor this airbase. I do not speak Japanese. Bloodwayne actually speaks pretty decently, but that's because she's a freaking weeb. But I think in terms of what we're sizing up here, this is good. I'm just running into a little bit of an impasse right now, because I need to see, on average, how the individual units behave. Because let me explain my limitations here. First off, 80-player mission file. So whenever you take a mission file past 60 players, if you have a weaker server, that margin's usually around 40. But whenever you take a server past 60 players, you generally want to optimize it as best you can for a Zeus mission. So having all this excessive vehicle spawn in is going to be tough. But what I can do is I can just set it so that, you know, like up here, I can only... You know, I can have, like, you know, only 2 out of the 4 vehicles there, maybe 1 truck here, 1 truck there, 1 or 2 vehicles under there, you know, 1 or 2 vehicles in here instead of, like, 4 to 5, so that, you know, they're placeholders there where if they're struck, they're struck. But if they survive, I can just keep spawning the vehicles until it's depleted, and then just make a mental note, or, you know, do what I normally do and have, like, 3 or 4 sticky notes written down. This one's probably going to be like 8, and then, you know, 1 per objective AO. But since 4 of the mission files are going to be tailored to the 4 individual units, and then 4 are going to be joint, the 4 joint ones, I'm going to be honest, I can just do whatever I want to them. But the 4 specific ones, I really want to tailor to the unit's pacing and what they're doing. And without that information, it's hard for me to decide how we're going to be doing things. But already, I mean, I know for a fact, as soon as the invasion starts right here, I'm going to literally mount up, like, everything out of this position and send it forward and create new defensive lines, set up a counterattack, and then start fielding stuff from the Pure Ghost defense lines and pushing it in. As they're starting Mission 2 and they're first going to be taking Chalkia, I'm going to be sending platoons of stuff out of Pure Ghosts into here. When they're hitting this area, I'm probably going to be fielding stuff from... We do have a military base over here in Zaros as well, but, I mean, I've got to write numbers down of what I have in Kavala to send in. But I guess another question will be, how much do I want to field from the Central Air Base? But, as you can see, it's not just about what's going to be in these AOs, it's going to be about what I decide to put in the entire map. And what my rules are going to be with air over how they engage stuff, because I don't know. I really need to know where those other 2 mission files are going to be. I need to know if we're going to be doing one of the spec ops to basically strike out at other AOs, or if we're just going to hold, like, you know, a defense over here and a defense over here. But either way, I need to then spawn in, or not spawn in, but write down, like, how much I'm going to be putting in based off of all the military positions and storage positions I can have in these areas. The units, I don't remember off the top of my head. I remember one is 4IB and I remember one is 15th MEU. I don't remember the other 2 off the top of my head. So that's where I am right now and what I'm slightly struggling with. And, I mean, building some of these AOs, though, it gives me the option of saying, alright, are we good with, like, you know, how many platoons of vehicles is too much? Because, again, for 80 players, that probably means we're at least going to have a squadron of aircraft. You know, it's not just going to be... When you have 60 players, for example, not even 60, like 50. Like, your average unit that operates at the platoon level of anywhere from, like, you know, 35 to 55 units, usually has 2 to 4 aircraft in the sky. And 2 to 4 American aircraft, at least, can... God, that's at least more than a dozen AGMs. Which means 3 vehicle platoons can get blown to hell from that alone. So if we're doing 80, that probably means we're at least going to have anywhere from like 4 to 8 air assets in the sky. And they also are going to field in their own armored forces as well. So throwing, you know, 3 to 10, and I'm serious when I say that, so like 12 to 40 vehicles at them that are armed isn't that bad, especially when we have drone warfare and all this other stuff to potentially do from UAVs, UGVs, and all this other stuff. There's a lot to work with, but I also need to see the roster's permission to see who's doing what when. And that'll also help decide where I put stuff, because, again, I want everything... I want Altus, the Central Airbase, to be like the center point, but, you know, how much do I want to put on Molos, for example? How much do I want to put on all these other military places? Do I want artillery positions? Because it'll also tie into, hey, air, if you want something to do, you can go to this position and blow up the artillery places there before, you know, we get within range of them. So, now that I've really started on this process, it's showing me where I need to now collect more information on. And I will admit I'm a little behind in my own checklist of doing things. I want to say a week behind, but now I know I can probably get all this done by next week if I get the information I need. Why use sticky notes when I could use a notepad on my computer? Because I only have 2 monitors. One monitor is going to be doing this, and the other monitor has you guys and OBS on. If I had a 3rd monitor, cool. I don't have room on my desk for a 3rd monitor. I have an L-shaped desk, which, you know, cut off half of the L and make it like 2 even lines. Because what's past the L shape on my right is a little bit of space for paperwork, notebook, all that stuff. Skill issue, yeah, right? Well, I don't really have an office. My office is literally a part of the basement. Because, you know, Bloodwing got the office. But yeah. I'm going to probably be working on this piece by piece over the next few days. But for now, I'm liking where this is. And I don't mind that this is empty. Like, Pyrgos is gonna be the main fight. And then I can always set up a pretty funny, like, AA artillery position here. There's always stuff I can add. Because I definitely want to add, like, a Spec Ops base here. But at the same time, it's a matter of who's assaulting. Like, are they gonna do it via water like amphibious vehicles, or are they gonna try to, like, land it? Because then, if we're not doing amphibious vehicles, there's no way they're gonna be able to land aircraft here. So we can just bypass that and instead push all the way to this military position down here, and I might put something on Raija as well, but this is where I really need to start digging on who's doing what, and then I can specialize the AOs accordingly. Alright, so let's give this a save, and we'll come back to it later, but welcome to the logistics of making a 24-hour operation. There's a lot to think about. Anyway, guys, tomorrow will be a Stargate mission. We're going to meet Apophis, and, yeah, there totally isn't going to be a crazy ambush that then results in us trying to recover Gwalwold bombs from 3 crashed Teltex. So, yeah, wink. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Go operate operationally. I just realized I still need to develop Wednesday's mission, which is going to start the 2 missions of the Black Templars versus Furry stuff, because I'm a little bit behind on that. Korean War I'm going to put on the back burner because I don't seem to have a lot of people wanting to show up for that anymore. But otherwise, yeah, cheers, guys. Have a good one, and go operate operationally.